Welcome back to Smoked Pit to Stage, the DallasOpera.tv show where we combine two great Texas traditions, the love of opera and barbecue. We're here again today in the Windspear Opera House in our 5th floor of the Dallas Opera offices, and we're welcoming Solomon Howard from our upcoming production of Das Rheingold. On today's menu, we'll have Rheingolden Mac and Cheese, an Arnold Palmer, and much more. Joining us today in our 5th floor library is Solomon Howard, who's singing the role of Fafner in our upcoming production of Das Rheingold. Welcome.
Glad to be here.
So when we invite someone on, one of the first questions we always ask is about what is your favorite barbecue dish, that go-to barbecue food?
Either ribs or brisket. Those are two of my favorites. You know, and I lean more towards brisket nowadays, but
I think our Texas audience will be really happy to hear that. Now, we know you like to eat brisket. Are you a man about the kitchen, or? Yeah,
I am. I don't barbecue much. I mean, you know, during the pandemic, we were home a lot more. My fiance and I, who's also a singer, we barbecue quite a bit. But being on the road so much, we don't always have access to a grill. So, and I don't travel with my cooking gear. You know, I'm not on that level yet.
Understandable. Now, but when you are in the kitchen, what's like maybe your favorite thing to make?
I like pastas. I like rotisserie chicken. You know, I work out a lot, so I like to eat things that I can get protein from, good protein from. But yeah, whatever I'm in the mood for, I'll make.
Now, switching gears a little bit, thinking about Das Rheingold, when you start thinking about the role of Fafner, much like in the kitchen where we talk about that secret ingredient, what's kind of the secret sauce, if you will, to performing Fafner?
Well, Fafner, like me, is a giant. Yeah, so we have big appetites. Also, you know, I think that one of the secret ingredients for portraying that character is understanding, you know, like priorities and being someone that knew, like I knew what I wanted to do, and I set goals and I stayed on that track to get to what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an opera singer. When I decided I wanted to be an opera singer, I knew like, okay, what city or in the States is great for that? This is where I want to go, and I went there. Much like Fafner, if you know the story, or for those who don't know the story, builders, he and his brother are builders, and they are owed money for building Valhalla, building this castle. And Wotan, Loga, they're trying to cheat them, and Fafner's like, no, we want our money. And staying focused on that goal of getting, you know, what's due, what's rightfully yours. That's something that's like one of the secret ingredients. So I take that, you know, from my personal life, and I know what it means to stay focused. I know what it means to charge forward, and also demand the respect.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I definitely am excited to see how that dedication and that drive really come out on stage.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, if I'm a member of our audience that maybe is new to operas or hasn't seen this opera, what are some things that I can expect, some things to look for, to be excited about?
If you know the story of Lord of the Rings, then you kind of know Wagner's Ring Cycle. I would say, and many do say, that the Ring Cycle is where they get the story of Lord of the Rings. And it's very dreamy. It's very, you know, these mythical creatures, you know, being giants. And each production portrays the giants differently, whether they are on stilts, whether they are voices behind like these giant heads or whatever. So you have to come and see this production here at Dallas Opera, because I'm not going to tell you anymore.
Okay, I won't push for any more. So today on the menu, we have our Rheingolden Mac and Cheese.
All right.
Now, this recipe, you mentioned that difficulty of cooking on the road. This is a simple recipe that really only uses the ingredients and one cooking dish. So the first thing we'll do is we'll grease our pan with a little bit of the butter so that nothing sticks to those edges.
And don't worry, we did wash our hands.
We did.
Very, very well.
All 20 seconds.
All 20 seconds.
So then the next thing we'll do once we've got that pan greased is we'll go ahead and add 2 cups of elbow macaroni. So Solomon, I'll let you add everything. The next thing we'll do is we'll take the remainder of the butter and we'll just kind of lay them out kind of across the top. We can both take a few there. Now, a lot of mac and cheese recipes, you've got to make a sauce, you got to boil the noodles separate. The nice thing about this one is it's all in one spot and one easy cook.
You're asking someone with OCD to lay them out. So I see an extra piece here. So I'm doing my best to
You're good.
put it as even as possible.
All right. So once we've got that butter in place, it's time to add the cheese. And you can add this, layer it, you can pre-mix it, you can do one and then the other, but the whole ratio is 12 ounces of cheddar cheese to 6 ounces of mozzarella. And so we'll add that.
As they say, cheddar makes it better. All right, mozzarella, young fella.
You could play with other cheeses if you want. You could use like a pepper jack in place of the mozzarella, a Gouda in place of the cheddar. So here's the point where we have our big reveal, which is salt and pepper. So I'll hand the salt. If you use salted butter, you'll only want probably 1 good pinch of kosher salt. I used unsalted today, so we'll get 3 good pinches of kosher salt, and then we'll coat everything with a nice layer of pepper just so we at least see some pepper flakes all over the recipe.
So 3 pinches, you say?
3 hearty pinches.
All right, so this one is dedicated to Salt Bae, who's down the street. Boom. He's not my bae. That pepper's got an attitude.
There we go.
It's like one of the giants not cooperating.
Right. And then we will add not 1, not 2, not 3, but 5 cups of whole milk.
Wow.
And so, Solomon, if you'll give that a pour.
Let's go 5. This is 5 cups of whole milk. Yeah, 5.5.
And of course, now we see it's all nice and flooded. We've made our Rhine River, if you will. So we'll get this into the oven on 350 for 1 hour, and then we'll come back and give it a taste.
All right.
As you prepare, you talked a lot about the drive and the focus. When we're in a kitchen, we want to have everything where it needs to be. What's preparing a roll like? What's that process for you?
Oh man, so you talk about being in the kitchen and having everything where it's supposed to be or where it needs to be. I very much operate like that. I have a specific order for how I prepare a roll. I'm a percussionist as well. I play Afro-Cuban Latin percussion. I also play drum set in church. When I'm learning a new roll, it's rhythms first, text, translating if I don't speak the language, or just making sure I know what everyone's talking about. So rhythm, text, and then combining the two. And I usually don't sing the roll full out until I know every note. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times when you're singing full out and you're singing wrong notes, that becomes muscle memory, or you can damage yourself because it's like, I'm on a pitch and I'm supposed to be here, so we try to adjust. So I make sure I know the notes first before I sing it full out. And then, occasionally you may make a mistake here and there, like, Steph Curry didn't hit every 3, Luka didn't hit every 3, Nowitzki didn't hit every fadeaway, so occasionally, you make a mistake or it's not exactly what you meant to do, but you get there. Yeah. So it's a process, and I stick to that with every role. Obviously, coaching the roles, But yeah, it's the same process, the order.
So thinking about process and order, you mentioned a little earlier about looking for that city where everything is and locating there. So tell us a little more about your journey to the operatic stage and what led you to this point.
Wow. So I started singing in church at the age of 3. I come from a very musical family on both sides. My mom and her sisters were a gospel group, the Flood Sisters. My father and his brothers, the Howard Singers, were a gospel group. And that's how my parents met. And not only are my parents singers, but they're also ministers, they're pastors. So I was in church all of the time. So grew up singing in church, and my voice, I was a boy soprano until the age of 11. Yeah. And just when I was like getting familiar in the kitchen, my voice was changing. So I thought I was the man, deep voice and being able to cook. Between 12 and 13 is where my voice settled, and I was like, I'm gonna be a bass. And so I went to my godfather's church, Metropolitan Baptist Church in Washington, D.C. They covered like the entire spectrum from spirituals, gospel, traditional gospel, contemporary gospel, anthems, oratorio. My godfather, godmother, they felt that being in that environment would be safe for me to learn how to use my voice. At that time, I was just mimicking what I heard in between the basses at the church, in the church choir. And so, I did that for a while, and then I'm the first college graduate on both sides of my family. So my godparents said, with all that talent, you're not gonna waste, you're gonna go to school. So I went to college, and this was 2002. I decided, okay, cool, I'll go to college, and I was a voice major. Yeah. And then it was in 2008, after working, this was at Morgan State University. We worked with just about every major symphony orchestra worldwide. But after working with Bobby McFerrin and Wynton Marsalis, yeah, I decided I wanted to be an opera singer. And the reason was, to see two young African-American men that were equally as gifted or proficient in jazz and classical music. Right. A lot of people don't know Bobby McFerrin is a great conductor. Mm-hmm. This is the same Bobby McFerrin, the same guy. He's an amazing conductor. And of course, we know Wynton Marsalis, classical trumpet and jazz. And me growing up having gospel music, I also sang with the choir, Children of the Gospel Mass Choir. And growing up singing gospel music, I was like, classical voice, like this is something that I think I can do, but I don't want to lose the other aspect. So after working with Bobby McFerrin, Wynton Marsalis, it's like, okay, I think I can do this because I see them still able to do it. Right. So then I went to Manhattan School of Music and got my master's in classical voice, and then went back home to DC. I was in the Domingo Cafritz Young Artist Program there, and the rest is history.
So our friends at G-Texas always provide us with a themed cocktail, and this particular golden cocktail is it's a take on an Arnold Palmer that has just a little something extra in it. And so what we'll do, we'll start with equal parts lemonade and tea. Fantastic. Now, if you like things a little sweeter, you can always add some simple syrup as well. To this mixture, we'll go ahead and put in our generous shot of some whiskey. And we'll give each one a good stir before serving over ice. Cheers.
Cheers. And Arnold Palmer with the kick.
There you go.
Yeah, I love it.
So
I see you grabbing your ammunition already.
I am. 2 shots. If you sink it, you get the cup. Oh. All right, let's see here. Oh. Just nothing but
floor. There's one.
There's one.
Nope. Ooh.
So we've corrected from nothing but floor.
That went in.
That went in.
Did that one go in?
It went in.
I'm the unofficial third member of the Splash Brothers. Nope. Oh.
I got one.
One and done.
One and done. Good game.
Good game.
So we've got our Rheingolden Mac and Cheese out of the oven, and now the most important part. We'll give it a taste.
Let's go for it. Cheesy. That's really good.
Who knows? Maybe after this, Fosselt and Fafner will be after Golden Mac instead of golden apples.
Golden Mac. All right. That's really good.
Solomon, thank you so much for coming to the Winspear Opera House and joining us for today's episode of Smoked Pit to Stage.
You talking to me?
I'm talking to you.
I'm eating, man.
Oh, we'll look forward to seeing you on stage in all of your giant grandeur.
Absolutely.
In Das Rheingold.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right.